Okay, good morning, guys. Inshallah, as we said before, this unit about selection. We cover the part of adaptation, we cover the part of variation, and we said that the adaptation is the total characteristics that the body have to survive in the environment. While the variation, they are the differences between the living things which enable them or which help them to survive in environment. We then enter to the selection, and we said that we have two types of selection. The natural selection that explained by Darwin theory, and we covered all of the points of Darwin and the four steps of the natural selection that explained by Darwin. Then now we will enter something called the artificial selection or unnatural selection, and it has a new title or a new concept which is called selective breeding. So selective breeding, it means that it's unnatural selection or artificial selection. Now, when the Darwin explain it, and the students of Darwin explain the natural selection, that the living organisms that have traits or the features or characteristics that help them to survive in nature, they can survive. So we can improve some characteristics more than the others. This is the main idea, or this is the main concept. So we can artificially increase the characteristics that we need, or the favorable characteristics that we need. For example, if someone just have a farm which contains cows, and he used these cows just to produce meat, so he needs a type of cows that produce a lot of muscles or a lot of meat to uh, to use that and get a huge amount of money. Or if we have type of plants that have diseases, and the same kind of plant with another species, or sorry, the same species of plant, but another type which resist this type of diseases. So we can improve these characteristics. All of that artificially. It can take place naturally. So why we can't use it artificially? So the tradition method to explain this, or which represent this, the farmers, they found that some animals produce the milk more than the others. So they bring the offsprings of the parents which produce large amount of milk. So if we said that we have 10 cows in the farm, two of them produce large amount of milk. So we get the offsprings, or we get these cows and make it mate with another male cow to produce offsprings have this characteristic. But when the farmers do that, they produce, if we can say, 10 new cows. The new generation contains 10 new cows. These 10 new cows have seven cows with low amount of milk and three cows with large amount of milk. So they bring the cows with large amount of milk and make them mate together again to produce the second generation, which has eight cows which produce low amount of milk and two cows which produce large amount of milk. So they bring the cows that have the required features, the large amount of milk, and make them mate together to produce offsprings have high ability to produce milk. Generation after another, experiment after another, generation after generation, we can improve the generations which produce the huge amount of milk as we need. Another farmer, another farm, they want the cows that produce large amount of meat, so they can bring the cows that have these characteristics and make them mate together, and bring the offsprings that still have these characteristics and make them mate together again. Generation after generation, we can improve this characteristic. So we make the natural selection by ourselves, which is called now, it's not a natural selection, it's called artificial selection or selective breeding, something we need. Okay, something like we show the characteristic that we need and improve it and make them reproduce only, while the others that have characteristics that we don't need it, we avoid the breeding of them, we avoid to make them mate with each other. Okay, so now we improve it artificially, the same as plant. So we decide the steps of the selective breeding, you must know it well. The steps of the selective breeding: decide which characteristics are important, choose the parents that show these characteristics, select the best offsprings from the parents to breed the next generation. Repeat the process continuously till get the perfect result. Till get the perfect results, guys. This operation, it's called selective breeding. We can use that to improve the plants or to improve the animals. Did you get it, guys? So we improve it. We use it to increase the size, the amount of milk, or whatever. So let's continue back again. Let's cover back again. So we decide which uh, uh, which characteristic that we need. We choose the parents that show this characteristic. We make them meet together and avoid the meet between the others. We collect the offsprings which show the same characteristic that we need and make them meet together again, generation after generation. We improve this characteristic more than the other characteristics. So now we have the animals that have the characteristics that we need. For example, some of cows produce a large amount, a large yield of milk, and another produce low amount of milk. But the cows that produce low amount of milk, it's tasty milk. The taste of this milk, it's perfect, and all of customers prefer it. So we can bring the cows that has a large or that produce large yield of milk and make it met with the cows which produce low amount of milk but with a good taste. Generation after generation, we can get a generation which produce large yield of milk with a very perfect tasty milk. So we can improve and mix the characteristics that we need. Okay, guys, study well, replay and re-listen to this explanation more than one time, please. Inshallah, we will continue the rest of this part, inshallah, tomorrow. Bye, guys.